Yo, what's up? It's me, Brandini, and I am here to give you my review on the Red Rooster and The Last God. The Last God, number 6. Chapter 6 was a good comic book. The art is fantastic. The story is fantastic. It's basically the Narnia the Chronicles of Narnia and Dungeons and Dragons. Basically, it's your everyday fantasy book. I love it. It's great. It's fantastically written, and it's pretty awesome. I'm gonna give this book an 8 out of 10. Oop. And then here is the Red Rooster. The Red Rooster, Season 1, Episode 1, or as I call it, Issue 1, of Allegiance Art and Entertainment. This is not a DC comic book. This is one of those comic books that is exclusive to Walmart. And I love this book. Because, let's face it. Comic books used to be like that. Used to be like with the story and the narrative first, then the action and the violence. Comic books, I forget Marvel's a comic book company. You guys can complain about it if you want. I don't mind. Marvel serves me no purpose nowadays. But this comic book was a fantastic run for this first issue. Basically, it's about a guy named Frank Cooper. This is Frank Cooper. And basically, I guess, in the beginning of this, he's kind of like a retired studio actor. But basically, he's kind of like the studio actors from the 30s and 40s, from like all the Batman serials and the Superman serials and the Shazam serials. You know, the old-timey movies. This is Frank Cooper, and he is known as the Red Rooster. Which I think is a lame-ass name, but whatever. I mean, it's not trademarked. They can't call him Batman or Superman. No, they can't do that. They have to find a name that has not been trademarked. And so this is Red Rooster. Basically, I'm going to guess is a normal guy wearing skin-tight outfits. Because in this panel, where is it? Right here. In this panel, he's bandaging up his hand. So that must be that he is technically a normal human being. He's not some super godlike feature or anything like that, but that costume, when I first looked at it, had the vibe of the Spectre. But it doesn't. And the reason I got this comic book was because I wanted to read it. I wanted to know who it was. The story was okay. It was just your run-of-the-mill 1930s, 1940s story about superheroes and villains and witty banters, oh, crime doesn't pay, and oh, he's gonna go to jail for 10 to 15 years. Or, oh, Bob, you look like you're gonna go ahead and, serve up 15 to 10 years. That kind of witty bantery, which comic books nowadays don't do it anymore. Because comic book nowadays, they rather see superheroes fighting and killing people. Mainly their villains. And comic books nowadays have gone far off the deep end. They have gone far off the deep end. And I'm glad this comic book stays true to the ideals of a superhero. Meaning the good guys save the day and the villains go to jail. Or break out of jail and then go back to jail again, only to do it for another round. Break out, go back in. Break out, go back in. Jeez, I'm sounding like Batman. But yeah, seriously. This is why I love this comic book. This whole aspect of the superhero genre. How the good guys save the day and the villains or mercenaries or whatever you call them go to jail. That's why I love this comic book. It's because those idealistics and everything else can still be true to this day in comics. And I wish DC and Marvel can look at this comic book and think to themselves, what the heck they did wrong? Because it's not freaking hard to write a comic book where the heroes go to jail, where the heroes fight villains and the villains can go to jail and break out of jail and go back there again. It's not hard. People don't have to write Batman killing a number of different villains or Superman killing a number of different villains just to get this point across. It's not hard. And look, it's not one of the companies that DC's in competition with. And yet, these guys over at Allegiance are doing a way better job than DC Comics. You see what I'm saying? It's not hard, and I'm telling DC and Marvel and Image and every other company out there, it's not hard to write a story where the villain goes to jail and the superhero saves the day without causing any broken necks or deaths. Sorry, not broken necks. Without causing any injury or death to a character. To get their point across. To make it look as if they're hyped up for the new generation. No, this is what you need to do, DC and Marvel. You have done this since the 70s, since the 40s, since the 50s, since the late 30s, since the 60s, since the 80s. You have to have a good story where the superhero goes and saves the day and puts the villain back where he belongs, in prison. Not this, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and break someone's neck. Or, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and, use shock value. Mainly causing another character to die violently. That's why I love this comic book, because it sticks to the narrative that superheroes save the day and the villains go to jail. That's it. It's kind of like what Batman said. It's a revolving door. And I love the fact that they have used that concept and put it into this comic book, which this comic book is not in direct competition to DC or Marvel, but I assure you that this comic book company should be in direct competition with Marvel and DC, because they're going to give them a run for their monies if they keep this up with this comic book character. So, that's my opinion. I really think that this comic book character has a lot of value compared to Superman or Batman or any other character in DC or Marvel or any other comic book company. Because, like I've said before, it's not hard to write a story with no shock value where the hero, in this case Frank Cooper, swoops in and saves the day. It's not hard. And yet I got this at Walmart. You got some thinking to do there, DC and Marvel and basically any other comic book company, because Allegiance is going to kick your butt if you keep doing what I'm asking you to, what I'm not asking you to do, which is, shock value and character deaths. People are going to get tired of it. And they want good stories with good characters where the hero has to swing in and save the day and put the bad guys away. And for this reason only, I'm going to give Red Rooster a 400 out of 10. Because the story was good, the art was good, and, everything else was good. So please give a like, subscribe, and check out my videos. Peace.